How y'all doing? And thanks for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, boats, RVs, golf carts, motorcycles, jet skis, and 2022 Super Duty F-350 Limited Power Stroke Diesel 4-door long bed. Beautiful blue, as you're looking at right here. Swing around a little bit. Show you our new shot mascot. That there's Luna. I don't know if you're dog people, but that's Luna. I'll also show you, take a look at that clock. Yeah, it's 6:42 p.m. We're still here, still working, still grinding for you guys. All right, back to the truck. What are we looking at? This truck's got a whole lot of stuff. So I'm showing you switch number 1 right now. Switch number 1 on the auxiliary switches. What's it running? An all amber package. Reason being, this guy does a lot of construction, a lot of landscaping, a lot of other worker type stuff all around Chicago. And I want to give him one switch that's absolutely friendly everywhere. Anytime, anywhere, amber is really not a problem. So switch 1 does all of his amber. Now what you're seeing in the front there, it's our auto flasher kit. Newly released for the front turn signals. I was a little against that at first, but it does look good and it does work well. And we are releasing it here for the Super Duty and many other applications. So if you need an amber only warning in the front of your Super Duty, we got you covered. Right below that in the factory fog bezel is one of our low dome HAW DUO hideaway sets. And typically you can use that small 1-inch light inside of another light by drilling a hole. But when you have a very tight bezel to work with, like that fog bezel on the Super Duty, you can drill a clean, beautiful 1-inch hole and backlight that 1-inch light from the back and let it poke through, and you get a nice, clean effect as you see here. It lights up the fog bezel quite nicely, and it really gives you some good side warning. I got lucky today. It's a little bit darker in here. I was able to turn off the shop lights and give you guys kind of a little darker video right now. I will say, as you can see by the skylight, it's still plenty daylight outside, but back here at the truck, you can get a little bit more of a visual pop as to how this is looking right here. And I can try to focus this in a little bit for you. There you go. So we've got a triple flash alternation on the factory turn signals in the front. And above that, you see our auto flasher kit running those 5 roof lights. Now, personally, I like to flash all 5 lights in unison, as shown here. But if you prefer, the auto flasher kit is equipped with enough parts to split them up. So if you prefer to have a 3-on-2 alternate flash, you can do that too. A little bit more work involved because you do have to tip down the headliner versus accessing all of the wiring right in the passenger grab handle. If you like the display you see here, it's a fairly easy quick install in the passenger grab handle that where you'll get the main wire to give you the flicker that you see right here. Now below it on our HAW DUO low dome right there, we just selected a very fast 360 flash per minute ping pong, which means 1 flash each side, back and forth, back and forth. The reason I did that is because we also have some white lighting on the front of this truck on another switch, which I'm demonstrating here. How about this for some punch? We've got our white spotlights in the mirrors going with that same fast 360 flash per minute ping pong, which is basically 1 flash each side, back and forth, like you saw in the fog lights in amber. Now below that, we've got our DRL with our auto flasher kit. Good news about the auto flasher. For the headlight, it is a shop dog. It is a no-cut install. Okay, more details in the link I'm going to post right now in the upper right-hand corner about our no-cut install. So there are no factory wires to cut to get this. Now this is the white switch. This is switch number 2. You can go ahead and put switch 1 on or switch 2 on, or you can put them both on. The headlights and the turn signals are on a 75 FPM alternation. That's 3 flashes each side. Very typical, very widely used strobe light pattern. And as you can see, when you have the amber and the white both on, the headlights will alternate in an X pattern. The passenger DRL will illuminate at the same time as the driver's signal, and then it'll flip-flop, driver DRL, passenger signal. That's done by synchronizing those 2 auto flasher kits. 100% optional. You don't have to synchronize. You can let them run wild. It's your choice. You bought the product, do it any way you like. But if you see this and you like this, it's 75 FPM synchronized between the turn signal and the headlight, and it's 360 single flash on the fog and the roof and the mirrors. Turns out real nice. If I don't say so myself, I'm quite happy with it. Alrighty, I'm gonna pull way out just to show you a little bit of the main effect so you can see everything. I'm also gonna kick that ISO way down just for a second to show you the different color alternations. Now you can see a little better exactly how the color is alternating. That ISO is definitely not normal right now. It's very low. Raise that back up, give you kind of a more normal view. All right, and just to prove them not playing any tricks, here's all the shop lights, the bright super LED shop lights. Those are all on right now. And as you can see, we still have some really impressive brightness from everything on the truck. Happy with the way this turned out in the front. All right, I killed the shop lights again just to show you a little bit more of the amber. I turned the white switch off. As you can see, the mirrors and the DRL stopped. But what we've got on the side of this truck, what I like the best about this truck and builds that I do this way, are we have a fog light front bumper light. Now that's going to take care of when you're sneaking your front end out at a 90 degree to traffic, when you're coming out of an alley or turning out on a busy street. Now that's really paramount for the side vision in the front. Behind that, you've got our Thin-X in the side badges. That's a nice badge mount light that really points backwards on a 45. Now I'm a little bit ahead of it right now with the wrong angle, but you can still see it quite well. The roof lights are going. You can see those, no problem in real life. And also on the back of the truck, we've got our Lens 6. That Lens 6 LED is on a split fire 75 FPM where it fires left and right, very similar to what the Thin-X is doing, the same pattern actually. And Thin-X being just a little larger light in the badge, and then that more aggressive 360 FPM on the front bumper hideaway light. The reason I went with the aggressive fast pattern on the hideaway light in the front bumper is because I didn't want to have that moment of darkness when the front bumper light was off, alternating left to the right. As you can see in the headlight above it, you get that moment of darkness when it's alternating to the other side, and I wanted to make sure that that front bumper was consistently flashing without stoppage. Now, working my way to the back of the truck, you can really see how that badge light works out right there. The badge light points backwards on about a 45 degree angle. We use it on many of our builds. We have it in all color combinations as well as amber and white if you wanted. This particular build, straight amber, is all we used. Worked out quite well. It's activated on the amber switch, as I said. Alrighty, now I've turned off the amber switch, I've turned on the white switch. And what that has done is killed all the amber in the build and turned on only the white, as we showed earlier on the front view. Now we have the rear cargo light flashing, you can see there, as well as the mirrors. All right, and as I come to the back of the truck, you'll notice that the cargo and the center light of the tailgate up by the keyhole, they're both flashing in unison. That is done via the third method of our install for the cargo light. If you prefer, you can alternate flash the cargo light as long as there's a camera in it. But if you do the alternate flash, you won't be able to tag in the tailgate light as well. So the way that we interrupt the single wire to grab the tailgate light, it flashes the cargo and the tailgate together, and you get the display that you see here. Now you can pick any pattern you like. What that is right now is actually a quint flash, 5 flashes very fast, and you'll notice it's separate from the roof because this is on its own auto flasher, and the roof is on a separate auto flasher. Roof is activated with the amber switch, cargo is activated with the white switch. Hope you notice our auto flasher also running those white LEDs in the tail lights. That's the reverse LED in the tail light, and it's a no-cut install just like the front. You don't have to cut any factory wires. Now the cargo light above it, we do cut a factory wire. However, in the reverse kit right there, as you see, there are no factory wires cut. You don't need to do that. It's a simple wire swap method. Now, the reason I have the camera so dark is to show you the color variation. When I have all the lights on, this particular C-ring in the back, the turn signal, amber on each side, kind of blends in. It's hard to pick up the variation. However, with the camera real dark like this, you can certainly see the difference in color between the rear turn signal auto flasher kit and the white reverse auto flasher kit. Yes, that is 2 kits, just like the front. 1 kit on the signals, 1 kit on the reverse. It is set the same pattern as the front, 75 FPM, alternate flash. And here it is with shop lights right back on, full brightness. Here's a close-up shot if you like that. And hell, as long as we're back here, I might as well show you those Diode Dynamics SS3. Now that's a sport version and the SS3 with a flood lens. We mount them right there on the hitch, drill a single hole for the hitch and use the included hardware. It's stainless steel, works quite well. I'll put the bracket on the back there, 1 bolt through the hitch, works out real nice, and it keeps it very protected. The bumper is just about farther than the light, and if you smash that light, you're gonna end up smashing the bumper anyways. I like that it's wide enough to stay away from the hitch and the safety chains, yet narrow and tucked in behind the hitch so the road spray from the rear tires doesn't destroy the back of the light. It tucks in quite nicely behind the hitch framework there and really gets a good protection from the actual tires and the road spray. And as you can see, we've run those on a separate switch, so you can use them anytime you want, with or without the warning, makes no difference. That'll be auxiliary switch number 3 that runs those rear floodlights. Alrighty, now about how bright those rear floodlights are. Well, how bright are they? This is what you're going to get. Now, this is a one-car garage door. I'm about 25 feet back from it. We've got about a 20-foot wide opening here. So I'd say put you into a circle of light approximately 50 feet around. Usable circle about 25 feet. Works quite well for backing up, loading a trailer, any kind of load work like that, or seeing in your garage or up a long 2-car driveway. No problem. These lights are very powerful. If you needed extra power and you wanted to go crazy, we can order a Pro version also with much higher wattage LEDs that would be extensively brighter, but also extensively more expensive. So what we use the most of is the Sport version. Seems like it does everybody just fine. And unless we have somebody who wants something particularly powerful, we'll order the Pro version. Hey, here's just another front shot of this beautiful blue truck. Did put a reverse alarm in it as well. Won't bore you with the details of that. Put it in reverse, beeps, put it in drive, beeping stops. So what I am going to do is link you to all the products that we used on this particular build. We're going to put it all in a package for you. If you like everything you see and you want to do it on your own, you can mimic everything we did very easily. The auto flasher kits, roof light, mirror light, front signal, front DRL, rear signal, reverse, and cargo are all going to be inclusive, meaning they have all the wiring that you need to do the task at hand. Okay, we have a low dome Hideaway Duo in the front bumper, and we ran that up on the passenger side and connected it right to the auxiliary switches. We really didn't need to do anything special for that, so that's going to come right there as that. And the way that I wired my badge lights was with 22-5 power control. So we're going to put in 25 feet of the 22-5 power control. That's going to get your passenger badge light right over to the aux switch with a piece about 4 feet long. It's going to get your driver's right over to the aux switch with a piece about maybe 14 feet, if that. And it's going to give you a little bit of extra, and that's going to allow you to extend the LIN 6 from the passenger side and the driver's side. And what I did is I tied it into the same power and ground that I fed the auto flasher module with its included harness for the rear amber. So we don't need to run another wire to the back because we're activating those LIN 6 on the same switch and the same circuit as the rear amber light. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use a little piece of that 22.5, the 25 feet included, to extend those LIN 6s over and tie them into the auto flasher module. Now, everything else on the truck is auto flasher kits. It'll come with everything you need. I used 3 switches on this. We are going to need 50 feet of 16.2 to extend your Diode Dynamics SS3s from the rear bumper forward to the aux switch. Now you might end up with a little bit of extra, no big deal on that. We use 3 auxiliary switches, so I'm going to put 3 fuse kits in here. We used 1 switch, switch 1 for amber, switch 2 for white, switch 3 for the flood. Okay, the hardware is included in the SS3s. We used all inclusive hardware. All you need to do is drill a hole, as I said earlier. And we are going to put in a nice assortment of 1/8, 3/16, and 1/4 inch heat shrink. That's going to help you make all your connections. We're going to put in a couple of bags of uninsulated butt connectors as well. That's going to be for connecting the wires up. And the only thing you'll need to get on your own is some split loom, some fabric wrap if you want, and some other zip ties and things like that. We may end up adding those to this package. Zip tie 100 count might show up in this one, as well as some of that Tessa tape and possibly some 3M tape. We'll link to those if you want to purchase those as well. Now, one thing I forgot to mention on the front, and I appreciate it if you're still with me, is the DRLs, the front headlight DRLs. They do tend to sleep when you shut the truck off and turn everything down, and the key is off. The headlights will go to sleep after a little while, and the DRL circuit will shut off. In order to keep that active, you either have to leave the parking lights on or leave the ignition on. Now, we're using aux switches 1, 2, and 3, which is ignition fed, so we have no issues with that. When the ignition is on, activates the switch, lights work fine. However, if you bought the DRL and you wanted to feed it off switch 5 or 6 when the vehicle was off and the key was off, the DRL would go to sleep and it wouldn't really work out. Just make sure that you're aware of that. And I know sometimes you like to see our switches. We did a little bit of a blue Dymo label with white here, just because it was blue label, blue truck. And, we went ahead and did amber, white, and flood. And that's just how we did these switches. And just for amusement, Luna seems to like whatever's in that pocket down there. She's definitely giving it a good sniff. So if you're a dog person, I hope you enjoyed that. That's how we did the switches there. If you need any labels like this, mail in and we could set you up with some. We got all kinds of colors and different things like that. So once again, thanks for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment for your car, van, bus, truck, bicycle, jet ski, whatever you like to ride or drive. Bring it on in. We'll take care of it. And our personal favorite, these brand new Ford Super Duties, especially these limited. Very nice, very nice. So make sure you check out the description for links to all the products in here. Check out the video in depth. Make sure you watch the whole thing. If you fast forwarded to right now, back up and watch the whole thing in depth because the video is our guide. This is all the info we have on this particular one. So make sure that you took notes on all the different locations, how I wired it, and what I told you about everything. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video. And keep in mind, Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment. And shop dogs. Big old 80-pound Doberman shop dogs.